First airing in 2011, The Voice has gained widespread popularity across 13 years and 26 seasons. The Voice UK aired 1 year later, making quite the splash across the pond. Season 13 kicked off August 31, featuring will.i.am, Sir Tom Jones, Leanne Rimes, Tom Fletcher, and Danny Jones as coaches. Sir Tom Jones was among the original coaching lineup, so far appearing on all but one season. British pop star Paloma Faith took over the What's New Pussycat singer's chair during Season 5, which aired in early 2016. And it seems that the change-up was not Jones' decision. The Welsh singer, 84, has spoken witheringly of the decision to replace him. Sir Tom Jones has said he didn't learn he had been dropped from The Voice UK until a month before he was set to begin filming his 5th season. "To say I was shocked is to put it mildly," the Grammy winner wrote in his 2016 autobiography, Over the Top and Back. "But my shock wasn't about the fact they had replaced me," he continued. "My shock was about the way they did it." Jones admitted that he, nor anyone, has the right to think of themselves as a permanent fixture. However, he says that executives refused to elaborate on their decision, saying simply he was out of contract. The chilly fall air in London had a crisp taste, and golden leaves swirled past the Slate ITV studios where the most recent season of The Voice UK had just finished airing. During the time that Sir Tom Jones, the famed Welsh crooner, was enjoying a pint of stout, the fire crackled inside a cozy tavern that was located nearby. The dim lighting made his silver hair shine, and his eyes, which were sharp although he was 84 years old, contained a mixture of defiance and disappointment. One of his most reliable friends, a music writer who had been covering his career since the days of It's Not Unusual, was sitting directly across from him. What is the subject? His unceremonious departure from The Voice UK prior to the show's 5th season was a wound that continued to sting even after many years had passed. Tom said, his voice gravelly but forcefully, cold as a machine. That's what the BBC was, referring to the program. "It's not like they suddenly abandoned me. They did it like I was yesterday's news." The year was 2015, and Tom, who had been a fixture on The Voice UK ever since the show's inception in 2012, had become an indispensable member of the team. The wisdom that he possessed, delivered with his baritone voice. Raw talent was transformed into stars by artists such as I.am, Jessie J, and Danny O'Donoghue. He had coached winners and fan favorites by the time he reached the 4th season, and his magnetism was the anchor that held the spinning red chairs. Tom was completely taken aback when his agent received the call, which was a brusque message informing him that he was out of contract and would not be welcome back for the 5th season. Shock does not cover it, he would later write in his autobiography, which he would publish in 2016, titled Over the Top and Back. "I learnt about it 1 month before the filming began. There is no acknowledgement or civility. Simply inform me that you've finished." While Tom was leaning forward and moving with his hands as if he were still on stage, the conversation in the pub began to fade away. "I get it. Nobody is eternal," she said. "Could you please explain how they managed the situation? Instead of treating me as a seasoned performer, they treated me like a novice." The decision made by the BBC to replace him with Boy George, a pop hero with a distinct style, was not the thing that caused the problem. Tom was a fan of reinventing himself because his career had spanned decades, from being a heartthrob in the 1960s to being a soul man who won a Grammy. The silence, as well as the inability to provide even the slightest bit of logic, was what irritated me. At the same time as he was shaking his head, he told his pal, "They said, out of contract, like it was a math problem. I was thinking, who is responsible for this establishment? Is there a computer in the basement?" At that time, the news had already begun to spread throughout the sector. Fans took to social media in droves, criticizing the action as a betrayal. One person tweeted, "Tom Jones is the voice of the United Kingdom," while another referred to the BBC as tone-deaf. Tom, who was always the professional, maintained his composure in public, but behind closed doors he was fuming. He had dedicated his entire life to coaching, staying up late to guide nervous singers and sharing stories of his own journey from small clubs in Wales to the stages of Las Vegas. Increasing the volume of his voice, he stated, "I wasn't there for the paycheck. I was there for the music, for those children hoping to make their dreams come true. When the journalist sensed a story that was more than just gossip, he nodded and began to scribble notes. The narrative was a collision between legacy and the callousness of corporations. An improbable shelter was found in the Lakes region of New Hampshire, which was where Tom had taken refuge for a short period of time as the word started to spread. He was able to escape the bustle of London and rejuvenate his mind by renting a cabin on Lake Winnipesaukee. He spent his mornings fishing, and the relaxing sound of the ocean lapping against the shore helped him unwind. While sitting by a fire in the evenings, he would play an acoustic guitar and go through classic standards like Delilah, as well as new ideas that would eventually be included on his album titled Surrounded by Time. There was a hint of a smile on his face as he spoke, and he remarked, "That lake brought back memories of who I was. Unlike being a TV prop, she is a singer who has something to say." During his time alone, he was able to internalize the rejection, but it also strengthened his determination. "I wasn't finished with it." Indeed, it wasn't over yet. At the time that The Voice UK shifted to ITV in 2017, Tom's return was a triumphant outcome. Although they may have been aware of the uproar, the producers welcomed him back with will. Gavin Rossdale, Jennifer Hudson, and I are involved. While he was taking a sip of his pint, he remarked, "Walking back into that studio felt like coming home. However, I took that lesson from the BBC with me. You should never presume that you are untouchable." During the final episode of Season 13, he resumed his chair and mentored with newfound fervor, guiding talented individuals such as the combo of Billy and Louie. A standing ovation was given to him for his performance of Farther Along with Them, although some viewers were unhappy with the song that he chose to sing. One user remarked, "Weird pics," while others gushed, "Tom Jones still slays at this point." The journalist inquired as to whether or not the event altered his perspective on the sector. Tom backed up, his eyes narrowing in concentration. "Whatever it is, it has always been a machine. Where's the music? It's human nature. Because of this, I am still here, and I am still singing." He had overcome challenging circumstances, such as health worries and the death of his wife, Linda, in 2016, and emerged victorious. The cold shoulder by the BBC was only another obstacle to overcome. He whispered with a tinge of excitement in his voice, "They believed they could erase me. On the other hand, you cannot erase 60 years of soul." His most recent album, which was released in 2024, was Evidence. The raw track, Talking Reality Television Blues from Surrounded by Time, addressed the ephemeral nature of celebrity and was a sly swipe at shows such as The Voice. When the fire in the bar began to die down, Tom thought about the coaches for the upcoming season, who included Will I Am Leanne Rimes, Tom Fletcher, and Danny Jones. "They'll learn that it's not just about talent," he said, "but it's a good lineup they have." It takes a lot of heart. As a demonstration of the show's progression, the ratings for the 13th season were higher, particularly among adolescents. However, Tom's departure left a lasting impression, reminding us that even legendary figures can fade into the background. He joked, "I told Leanne, watch your back," but his eyes suggested he was serious. Tom hadn't finished his work when the journalist put his notebook away. "You know what causes the most pain? It's not the departure that's the problem. It's the notion that loyalty doesn't mean something anymore." Other artists, including Ollie Murs and Anne-Marie, experienced the same fate in 2023, leading to fan boycotts. He said, "The situation remains unchanged. They will build you up, and then they will let you go." However, Tom's account was not the same. His voice was as powerful as it had ever been, and he had returned not just to The Voice, but also to stages all over the world. As he had drained his pint, he said, "I'm 84 years old, and I'm not slowing down. Even if they try to get rid of me, I will continue to sing until they reduce me to dust." In the distance, London was buzzing, completely oblivious to the fire that was still raging in Tom Jones. His statements tonight, which were direct and uncensored, marked his true comeback. The tranquility of the Lakes region had helped him feel more grounded. As he was getting ready to go, he instructed his pal to write this: "Please tell Tom Jones that he should not be quiet." A legend that had never been broken, his voice reverberated in every note that he had ever sung, and he stepped into the darkness with a nod for approval.